There should be a TV show. Whose fault is it anyway? Let's talk about that. Yeah. Look, I did it all the way through without...
I'm proud of you. It's always your fault, honey.
Oh, wow. Whose fault is it anyway?
Frankie's.
Well, if we're at school, it's the IT guy. Yep. It's always Frankie's fault.
If we're at home, it's Frankie's.
Yep. Usually it is. It's the dad's fault.
If you're driving, you're going the wrong direction. It's
Frankie's fault. Yeah. Anyway, going back to the Garden of Eden, it's awesome to see. Well, not awesome, but I mean, it's just kind of weird to see that when Adam and Eve did their sin and ate of the fruit. We don't know what fruit it was. Don't tell me apple because it doesn't say it in the Bible. Anyway, Adam blamed Eve. Mm-hmm. Eve blamed the devil, and the devil couldn't blame anybody. There was nobody else left to blame. And actually, Adam not only blamed Eve, but also blamed God. You're the one who gave her to me.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
So whose fault was it anyway? It's amazing, story after story in the Bible. Most of them pointed to other people, pointed to other nations, complained to God that it was somebody else's fault, that it wasn't theirs. And only a few people in the Bible really said it was their fault. Like when Nathan came to David and told him the story about Bathsheba. Mm-hmm. And David actually had a repentant heart and said, yeah, it was my fault. Mm-hmm. But then you go to the New Testament and, Peter was like, no, I don't know Jesus. And he was like pierced to the heart and denied him. Said, nope, not my fault. I'm not with him. And then Judas, on the other hand, did the same thing, but he kind of was pierced to heart in a different way. But whose fault is it anyway? Well, a lot of times we sit around and we say, well, it's, my job's fault, it's my boss's fault, it's it's everybody else's fault except mine. That's the culture today we live in, that nobody wants to take responsibility. Mm-hmm. But then you read James 1:14. And before this, James says you can't blame God, okay? Because God is holy, God is righteous, he's not going to tempt you to sin. Now the devil will, but only tempt you. He won't force you. The devil won't force you into things, and God won't force you into things. So here we go. But each person is tempted when they are dragged away by their own evil desire and enticed. So, first of all, we can't blame God because he's holy, righteous, truthful, wonderful. He's not going to tempt you. He might test you, but not tempt you. Then we can't blame the devil because he has no power over really anybody unless you give him power, because he's an angel, a fallen angel. We can't blame demons or angels because they're under, God's direction, and demons are under the devil's direction, so they really don't have power to change your mind. You can't blame anybody else because really you have choice. The only one you can blame and the only one that you can control in your actions and your mind is you. You are the one to blame. When you sin, when you are tempted, when you are down that road, you are to blame. Now, the really cool thing about Jesus is that because it's your fault, he takes that away. He takes the punishment of sin. Now, he doesn't take the consequences away, but he takes the punishment away. There's a difference. We still have consequences by our stupid mistakes. Okay, there's still consequences. Physical consequences, mental, emotional, spiritual consequences. But the punishment for that is taken away from Jesus. For Jesus. But we have choice. You are in control of you. Don't let anybody tell you differently. So, whose fault is it anyway? That should be a TV show, I think.
It'll still say Frankie.
Yeah, they'll still say Frankie. Anyway.
That was your fault.
So, when you sin or get enticed or make your choice to do what you want to do, besides what God wants to do, when your desires drag you away, you can't blame anybody else but you. But the cool thing is that you have a choice to come back to God. You have a choice not to do it. You have a choice to say no to sin before it happens. So my challenge for you today is say no more often to sin instead of getting enticed and blaming it on yourself. I love you. Jesus loves you too. You have a great...
It's Wednesday, I think. Wednesday.
It's Wednesday. Goodbye. Nobody was watching. That people watch today.